All right. According to my clock, it is 2:31 Pacific Standard Time, which is 3:30 where I am here in beautiful Idaho Falls, Idaho. So we're going to get started. Welcome to everyone. I suspect we'll have a little bit of a smaller group tonight just because tomorrow is Turkey Day and everybody is making their final preparations. But thankfully, we've got an incredible co-host here with Samantha, who is recording all three sessions tonight, and we will have those available. Thank you, Samantha, for that beautiful red heart. That was nice. We'll have those available for anybody that wants the recordings later on. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Tony Hughes. I'm a realtor up here in Idaho Falls. I just moved up here about a year and a half ago. I'll be your host for the evening. I just got married a year and a half ago, next month, I guess on the 18th, and my bride is from Idaho Falls. We actually met in Fort Worth, Texas, when I was 13 and she was 12. We were going to get married in 1980. We both went our separate ways and did not get married. And almost 40 years later, found each other again after both of our marriages kind of crumbled. And we got married last summer. So it's been an interesting life for sure. I'm really excited for tonight, guys. I'm really excited for our guest speaker tonight, Mr. Marek Davis. He's become a dear friend of mine, and I consider him not just a friend, but a really, really solid business partner and someone who he's already seen me get old, but I'm going to watch him get a little older over the next 10 or 20 years. So I think I know for a fact, all five of my children are older than Marek Davis, which is amazing because Marek has got an amazing story that you'll all be hearing here shortly. So let me introduce our guest speaker real quick. I met Marek, what has it been, Marek? A couple years ago.
It was about August of 2020.
August of 2020, right in the middle of COVID-19 and pandemic and all that stuff. But Marek was right from the minute I met him, I was impressed with him. He's kind of an old soul, and he came over to EXP through a friend of his who lives in the same town that he lives in, who was also a former Keller Williams agent, Justin Toll. And Justin introduced Marek to me, and we chatted a little bit about the value of moving his business over to EXP. And he didn't move immediately. It took time. He did his due diligence, and his story from the time he started in real estate to when he got to EXP was already pretty extraordinary. But since he's been here at EXP, he's just literally blown the top off, so much so that he's now transitioning into being a team leader and starting his first real estate team, which is going to be amazing. So Marek Davis, a ripe old age of 23 years of age.
Let's go.
And I'm so excited for you. I'm going to turn the time over to you, brother. Tell us your story, man. Let's hear all about it.
All right. Well, hey guys. I noticed you guys' mics are muted, so I'm gonna try to not think about that, but I'd love to see your faces.
Yeah, where's all the cameras? Everybody, there we go. Andrew,
Andrew, what's up, man? So
I turned off the light. That was so I turned off my camera to turn off the backlight. So
if you're not fully clothed, please keep your cameras off. So
yes. All right, guys. Well, I'm just gonna dive right into this. Now, I was born in 1999, and at the time, my biological mother didn't have the capacity to take care of me financially, emotionally, or mentally at the time. And she had to put me up for an adoption, and I was adopted by my parents that lived in Rexburg, Idaho at the time. And so I was the only black. Well, let's see. I had two other adopted sisters, not from the same family as me, and they were adopted out of Ohio and Detroit. And growing up, we were the only black kids in the school most of the time. The only other time that there was another black kid is if they were adopted and had white parents as well. So I lived in Rexburg until I was about 5 years old. My parents got a divorce, and I moved to Pocatello, Idaho, where I still reside today. And when I was when junior high and high school early on, I struggled with, just, my identity and who I was as a person. And I was really lost. I had a major surgery on my hip that prevented me from being able to play football and basketball competitively. And I was always involved in sports, since I was 5 years old. So that was, that played a toll on me. But I was really struggling to find who I was as a person at the time. And I asked my adopted mom, I said, Mom, can you please let me know like who my biological mom is? Like, I just want to know who she is, see a picture of her. I just want to know. And she gave me her name. I looked up my biological mom on Facebook and I sent her a message on a Friday. And next Monday, when I was on my way to school, she had messaged me back and said, Hey, I know that you're probably on your way to school. Please call me as soon as you get out of school. So I called my mom, and she had flown out, or she had driven her, my little brother, and my half sister, my full blood sister, out to Idaho a couple, like 3 months later, since I had initially made contact with her. And from then, I had a really strong relationship with her. She continued to come out to Idaho to visit me up until I graduated high school. And I had also went to Kansas City, Missouri, where I'm from, 2 times during my high school life. And right before I graduated high school, I found out that my junior high sweetheart me and her were expecting a baby. And, I had made some not smart decisions, and I had a huge responsibility that I had to take on in my life at that time. And so I was working at a pizza restaurant making $7.25 an hour. And I was mowing lawns as soon as I got off from work or before I went into work, just really trying to do everything that I could to save up money, because I was also going to college. I had enrolled in college and had started college literally a month after I had graduated from high school. So I was working 2 jobs, going to school, making ends meet. And I was just like, man, like I'm getting burnt out. I need to either work full time and drop out of school, or go to school full time and work a job that's not as demanding. So I continued to go to school for another semester, that fall semester, and I decided I needed to work. I needed to provide for my family. I was living at my in-laws at the time. I was not happy with that living situation. So I got a full-time job at Allstate, where I was in customer care. And so I worked that job for about 7 to 8 months. And then I was like, I need to quit my job. I need to go back to school. I need to get my degree. I'm going to go full time. I'm going to make this work. And I literally enrolled in school in August, quit my job in August, was going to school for 2 weeks, and I was not happy. Still wasn't happy. I was stressed out about homework, stressed out about money. And I'm on my way home from school one afternoon, and I call my biological mom. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not happy. Like I'm depressed. Like I just feel like I need to be doing something else. And she said, go get your real estate license. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's easy. I'm gonna get my real estate license. So I call my stepdad, my stepdad that had played a big role in my life after my adopted parents had split up. He was a retired lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, hospital administrator for over 20 years, very successful individual. We went out to Tasty Treats, a little ice cream shop, and we sat down that day. And he's like, so you want to get into real estate? I said, yeah. He's like, real estate's a very hard business. And I said, yeah, I know it's a very hard business, but I think I can do it. He's like, I think you can too. There's going to be a lot of people that are not going to trust you or believe in you starting out. It's going to take a lot of work. Before you get into real estate, I want you to go and talk to Greg Johnston. Now, Greg Johnston, I don't know if you guys know who that is. He was with Keller Williams for a number of years. He was the #1 realtor in the Northwest region, I believe, for like 5 years or 4 years. He's got a bunch of trophies for being the #1 realtor. He sells about 200 houses a year. But I go into Greg's office that day, I said, Greg, I want to get my license. He says, it's an easy business. Get your license. I said, okay, where do I sign up? He said, just go to idahorealestateschool.com. I believe this was the 17th of August. So I called my mom and said, hey, I'm gonna go and join real estate school. It's $700. It's in Boise, Idaho for 2 weeks. She's okay, you should do it. I tell my girlfriend, hey, I'm gonna get my license. She was supportive of me. She hugged me, trusted me, and believed in me. And so I go to the counselor's office at ISU the next day on the 18th, and I say, hey, I know that I committed to school, but I have to drop out again. I'm gonna go get my real estate license. And the counselor at the time was like, Marek, it's a really hard business, but I'm sure that you'll be able to do it. So went to real estate school. I was licensed at the end of November of 2018. I got my first listing the first week of December. I had done everything that my coach at Keller Williams said. And if you guys don't know, it's call every single person in your contacts. Let them know you're a real estate agent. Tell them you're looking for an opportunity to help them or anybody they know sell or buy a home. And that's what I did. I reached out to a good friend of mine that I hadn't been very close to the past couple of years, but I just reached out and said, hey, I hope you're doing well. And he texted me back. He said, yeah, man, things are going good. How are you? And I said, great. I just got my real estate license. Have you thought about buying a home, or do you know anybody that I could help? He said, yeah, my grandparents, they're going through divorce. They're elderly people and they need to sell their house. Financially, they're not in a good position. I said, okay, well, let me see what I can do. So I get their listing, I put it on the market, have it on the market for about 60 days. And then they tell me, hey, Marek, in 30 days, the bank's going to own my house. And I was like, oh no. I just got my first listing. It's going to go to foreclosure. Oh no. So I reach out to my stepfather, who's a very successful man. I say, hey, Dad, what would you think about you partnering with me and buying this house? He says, Marek, how much do they want for it? I say, $210,000. Like, that's a lot of money. He said, if you're willing to make the payments on it, I'll co-sign with you to buy this house if you're willing to make the payments on it and you're willing to do all the work. I said, I'm willing to do all the work. They owed about $150,000 on the house. They both needed, $10,000 to $15,000 to walk away from the home. So I bought their home for $189,000. I also made, I think it was $10,000 in real estate commissions because I had a listing agreement on the property. So I bought the house, my first listing, I bought that house. Okay.
I didn't know that, Marek. That's new news to me. That's a pretty interesting way to start off. And you were how old? 18 or 19?
So I had just, well, let's see. Let me think.
Your
So
birthday's in March, right?
I was still 18 years old. My birthday wasn't until March 6th of that year. So I was still 18 years old.
Wow.
So I buy this home. It's got poop in it. It's got pee resonated in the carpet. And the day that we're supposed to close on the house, we go do our walkthrough before going into closing because I was expecting that they'd be out of the house and everything was still in the home.
Oh, no.
Everything, beds, TVs, clothes, pictures, food in the fridge, food in the deep freezer they had.
Oh.
There was poop in the basement. Just anything. It was bad. So I called the homeowner up. I said, hey, I'm closing on your house at 12 o'clock today, and you guys are still occupying it. She said, well, Marek, we don't have any money to move anywhere yet. I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. I guess I didn't explain that to you. Okay. So I say, okay, I'm going to go in and sign at 12. I'll give you guys a week to move everything out of the house. So a week rolls by and I go over to the house and everything is still in the house.
Oh my gosh.
So I call them and I say, hey, I gave you guys a week. I've got to move my family in here. We have a lot of work to do so that we can get moved in here. My daughter, she's only, actually she wasn't even born yet. But my daughter, no, my daughter was born. Sorry, I apologize. My daughter was born, but my daughter was young. We needed to get her moved in, her room set up, just do all those things, right? So I moved everything into the garage so that they can move out over the next weekend. They got everything moved out, and I just fixed this house up. I fully renovated the home, new bathrooms, new flooring, new paint, new kitchen. I finished 2 bedrooms in the basement, added a bathroom, and then 2 years later, ended up selling that home for $365,000.
Wow. How much did you get into it?
I was about $40,000 into that home.
40 G's. Okay.
Yep.
All done.
Yep. And so
Sorry,
that
so
was
that's 185 plus 40, and then you sold it for 3.
65. So I made like over $130,000 in profit.
Well done.
Yep.
Now, did you split that with your dad?
Nope.
No.
I called him
Even
up.
better.
I called him up and I said, "Hey, I'm going to sell my house and you are, you're on the title of this property. How are we going to work this out?" He said, "I don't know. How do you want to work it out?" I was like, "Well, I think I deserve all the proceeds. You haven't put any money into this house." He said, "That sounds fair."
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yep.
Nice, Dad.
Yep. So, anyways, so I kind of got sidetracked telling you guys that
Oh,
story.
good. That's a great story.
And so my first year in real estate at Keller Williams, I ended up selling 34 homes that year.
Your first year. That's
My
your
first
full
year,
Wow.
34 homes.
Impressive, Marek.
I made $139,000 in GCI. Actually, no, I think that was after taxes, 139,000. Yeah, 139,000 after taxes. And I had never imagined that my life was going to be that way my first year. None of my siblings, my older siblings, they have never made that much money before. And I was the youngest. I'm the youngest sibling. I mean, my life, my family tree is so confusing, but my immediate family, I am the youngest kid in my immediate family. So it's pretty inspiring to see that. And so my second year at Keller Williams, I ended up selling 54 homes. I made just over $250,000. And at that point, I was really fortunate, really happy. But I just felt like, sorry, people keep calling me, but I just felt like there was more opportunities somewhere else. And this is when I started investigating other brokerages. So do any of you guys know who Brian Casella is by chance? So Brian Casella is the one that, Justin Toll, the one that sponsored me, he was the one that got me into what's called door knocking for prospecting. And I had watched Brian Casella on YouTube to learn about how to approach door knocking. And Brian Casella at the time was at eXp Realty, but there was no other agents at eXp Realty in my area at the time. And I was scared to go to eXp Realty because I didn't know what that was. And so a year rolled by, about a half a year rolled by actually, and Justin Toll calls me and says, "Hey, what would you think about leaving to eXp Realty?" I was like, "Dude, I've already investigated it. I'm not interested in moving to that company. If I'm going to move, I'm probably going to go to a flat fee broker." I literally said that to him. And he's like, "Dude, you're going to be spending a lot of money and leaving a lot of money on the table." He said, "How about I introduce you to Tony Hughes?" And I was like, "Sure. I don't know who that is, but sure." I didn't care to know Tony at the time. And so Tony Hughes calls me, says, "Hey, Marek, I'm going to be up in Idaho this next week. I'd love to meet with you and get to know you and just hear about you." I said, "Okay, yeah, this sounds great." Tony comes up to town. We end up going golfing. And I'll show you guys this picture. So this picture right here, this is one of the first pictures that we ever took. This was the day that I had left Keller Williams. So you got Tony Hughes right there,
Justin
Tony right here, Justin, myself, and then this is Stacy Schaus. So we play our 9 holes of golf. We go in the clubhouse to get lunch. And Tony says, "Now, have you ever watched Model Explained?" And I said, "No." So he puts up Brent Gill's video on the Model Explained. I watched the video. I look over to Stacy Schaus because Stacy Schaus is like a mother figure to me. She's one of the most caring individuals that I know.
She's title, right? She's your title rep.
Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
title rep for Pioneer Title here in town. And Stacy looks at me and she says, "I think you should do it." So I look at Tony. I said, "Let's do it. Let's sign up." So we're on Tony's computer and I get signed up with EXP. So my first year in EXP was one of the best years I've ever had in real estate. And I sold 84 homes. It
So from
was
30, was it 34, 54, 84? Does that sound right?
let's see. So
35 or
it's hard to say. So I think it was 54 at Keller Williams and then like 20 at EXP, something like that.
okay,
Because I did 72 that year total.
right.
Last
Okay.
year I did 84, and then this year I'm on track to hit 100. I've
All
done
by
90.
yourself.
Yep, all by myself. I don't have a team. The biggest thing that I've done to generate my business is having a strong online presence, for one. I'll show you guys some of my this is one of my closings. This was my friend's mom. She bought her duplex. This is one of my buddies I played football with.
We love our realtor.
Yeah. And these are just a few of I've helped over 300 families buy and sell property. This is my boy, Zach Martin. He's actually in my office right now. He's a realtor with EXP now. I sold him his first house, and then I talked him into getting into real estate. So he's a part of our EXP family now.
That's awesome.
This is my dad, my biological dad. He's a real estate agent as well, and now he's a part of EXP Realty.
Of course he is. In Missouri, right? He's
Yep, in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
This is my firstborn daughter, Avery.
That's so adorable.
And then this is my beautiful girlfriend. We're engaged. We haven't figured out how we're gonna celebrate our big day yet. But this is her.
Keep
She's
popping out those beautiful baby girls. They're so precious.
Yep, she's the one that makes the world go around and at our home. Very, very fortunate to have her in my life. And this is my other daughter, Alora. She was born last year on November 24th, and her birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, wow, it is. That's right. Holy cow.
Yep, she's been around a year as of tomorrow. But those are just a few people. There's just a few things I wanted to share with you guys about my life. You guys are more than welcome to add me on Facebook. I will accept your friend request. And if you guys ever have any questions or anything that I may be able to be of help for, you guys are more than welcome to reach out to me. One thing that has been very huge as well has been doing video marketing. And there's a lot of agents out there that do like live video walkthroughs. Those are great. Those are the things that I did when I first got in the business, doing live video walkthroughs on builder homes, new constructions. I would even do one for sell by owners, and I would get the listing. And so I think that just doing videos, most importantly on educating clients, is huge. So I'm trying to find this video. So this is one video that I did on why renting or why you should buy versus renting. This video has performed over 6,000 views on Instagram and Facebook, and I've had over probably 5 to 10 leads through it. So I think that just being educating people has been very beneficial in my business. So door knocking and online presence. Those are the two things that I've talked about so far that have helped launch my business. Okay. Now, the third thing is I don't know if you guys have ever heard the term driving for dollars or cold calling. but driving for dollars, essentially is when you're driving through a neighborhood and you see a property that either has broken windows, poor landscaping, a poor roof. What I do is I write the address down, and you could literally come up with probably 20 to 30 addresses in a 30 to 45-minute time frame. And what I do is I take that information and I plug in the addresses on PropStream, and I skip trace the phone numbers and get the phone numbers of the owners and simply just call them and say, hey, my name is Marek Davis here at eXp Realty. I'm also an investor with Homies Buyers because that's my other company that I own. I just wanted to reach out to you to see if you've ever thought about selling your home at 123 Main Street. And that's just a conversation starter that I have. And we can role play. I mean, if you guys want to role play, I'm always down to role play. But I just start the conversation, and I just figure out what challenges they've had, or if they have any challenges. Because if they have challenges, me being the solution to their challenges gets me their business, and I gain trust by doing that. The other thing is prospecting by phone calls. Phone calls have been huge. I used to call every single for sale by owner. I still do that now. I kind of took a break from that because I was just so busy with referrals over the past 2 years. But I'm getting back into cold calling for sale by owners, expired listings, all like every single day, at least 3 days a week. I'm doing that and making at least 50 phone calls. But that has been huge in my business. I had an agent that was my productivity coach at Keller Williams. And she said that if you want to make 6 figures a year, this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to make 10 phone calls a day you're going to have 10 conversations a day with 10 different people. And so I literally did that. I did it either through door knocking, calling my for sale by owners, calling my expired leads, or any withdrawn listings, or driving for dollars. Those are the 5 things that I've done to generate my business.
Marek, knock on my door. Let's role play for a minute. I want to hear you.
All right, man. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Good. How can I help you?
Hey, so I'm a local real estate expert in your neighborhood, and I have a flyer that I want to give to you that shows you recent properties that have sold in your neighborhood in the past 30 to 60 days. Are you open to taking this flyer?
Certainly. What harm could that be? You bet.
Yeah, I think this is just really useful information. Just if you've ever thought about either selling your home or maybe refinancing or pulling out a HELOC to do any renovations or to maybe even buy an investment property, this is just some useful information that you can have if you've thought about doing anything or if you've thought about making your next move.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Did you say you live in the area?
Yeah, I'm a local real estate expert. I've been licensed here for about 5 years. I've serviced and helped over 100 families, and I'd love to help you too.
Well, it's interesting because my wife and I have actually been kicking that around with the market the way that it is. So we'll review your information, and if we have any interest, we could certainly get back to you.
That'd be perfect. Hey, before I leave today, can I get your phone number and your email, and maybe I can set up a time with you this next week where we could sit down and maybe do a more in-depth analysis on your home?
I usually don't hand out my phone number, but I'll give you my email. That's fine. You bet.
Okay. Hey, thanks for your email. Hey, how about would next Tuesday maybe around 1 o'clock work for you?
For what? I'm sorry.
Would maybe next Tuesday work for you to sit down with me and possibly go over this analysis?
It could, if it was later in the day. Again, I'm not quite sure we're there yet, but I certainly can review your information with my wife, and then we can let you know if Tuesday would be something we'd be interested in.
Okay. I'm going to pencil you in for now, and I'll send you an email to follow up with you. Does that sound good?
That's fine. Thank you for stopping by. It's nice to meet you.
You're welcome. Hope you have a great day and have a great rest of your week.
Awesome. Love that, Marek. That was simple, smooth.
Hey Marek, I love that because you went for the appointment, right? You went to ask to meet with them again next week, and you said you're gonna pencil it in. That's really cool, and I can tell that you said that more than one time in the past. It's all about learning the script, right?
Yeah.
How many doors have you knocked on, Marek? Approximately. What do you think?
I think at least.
Right, baby.
I think at
Here's
least.
my question for you, though, Marek.
Yeah.
roll back the clock to week 1 or month 1 or even year 1 of your real estate business where you didn't close your first transaction yet. You didn't even close 3 yet. Now you've got 100 on your belt. Roll back and teach the audience here who's brand new in the business how to do that. Can you use a different script?
Yeah, so this is one of the scripts that I use. So Tony, do you want to role play? I'm gonna do my
Hit me,
best.
let's
It's
do
been
it.
a long time.
Bet.
Okay, so knock knock.
Hello.
Hey, my name is Marek Davis. I'm a local real estate expert. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
Good.
Good.
Hey, so I am a part of a local real estate company here in town, and I'm handing out flyers to give you useful information on what your market value is for your home. Whether if you're looking to sell your home, refinance, or possibly do a HELOC on your home. I messed up. Sorry about that.
No,
You know what's great? You can
that is
actually do that at the
absolutely
door.
perfect. That is absolutely. But we get the rest of that, right? That's absolutely perfect because I know what some of the audience were thinking, or for the people who were listening, who will be listening in on this recording afterwards, Marek, that, well, shit, he did 100 deals. I can't say that. And if you paid attention, he just switched up the lines like that. Hey, I'm a local realtor. I work on a team, and that's all you need as a rookie. So we're taking all your rookie excuses away, right?
Yeah, and another thing too, like I would also brand is, my company, or like my team, but I would say my company has over 25 years of experience in the area. Because I was working alongside other realtors that did have 25 or 50 years of experience at the time, combined.
That's right.
Or I'd say
Perfect.
we have over 50 years of combined experience in our office,
Yeah.
something like
Well,
that.
if you were with Tony Hughes, you have over 100 years of experience there.
Because I'm 100 years old.
Yes,
You can
Santa
say,
Claus.
Marek, I love saying my sales team, I've got a sales team that I'm part of. We have 86,000 licensed agents. So that's a pretty big team.
That is. I'm going to start using that one. That's awesome. I will start using that one.
Great. Marek, I don't know if you're watching the chat too. I know Tom had put that up there, but I think that's pretty much it. What secret tips can you share with the audience about having a great online presence? Anything else you want to share with you do great videos. Anything you want to share about your social media that makes you different than the masses?
I think I'm like on social media, I think I'm myself, which is huge. I make funny posts all the time. I'm really big into sports. And so like I had made one about Russell Wilson having, he's thrown 7 touchdown passes this year, and he's got 12 bathrooms in his house. So he's got more bathrooms and touchdown passes. I think that had over like 37 or 40 likes on it. But just like whenever I make funny posts like that, or whenever I make any posts, I typically get quite a bit of people that like it. And what I typically do is I always will reach out to them, whether if it's that day or the next day, and just say, hey, how are you doing? It's been a long time since I've talked to you. And that's always another conversation starter.
I'm kind of curious, Marek, if you do, besides the email, if you do any follow-up with thank you cards or anything when you do your door knocking, do you do anything like that? Or
No, I haven't. After I sell a home to a buyer or a seller, typically I will give them like a custom home sign that says home sweet home on it. I give them a thank you card with, wine or something, but I usually give my clients back something at closing just so that, they remember me, they're appreciative of me. And typically, I do follow up with them, at least a week to 2 weeks after, or even a month after they bought their home, and just say, hey, I just wanted to check in, make sure everything's good. How are you guys doing? And that's typically my follow-up approach. And then, I haven't been great about using my KV core. But I'm actually in the process of working on getting people's birthdays implemented into there, getting their anniversary dates of their homes. I'm working on doing all those things right now. just so
Excellent.
that they get a reminder from me, at least, 5 to 10 times a year, knowing that I do still remember them. All right. So I'm in the first thought of their mind whenever they think about real estate. And I think even without me using my KV core, I still have tons and tons of repeat customers that still think about me. And my community is smaller. We only have about probably 60 to 70,000 people here in Pocatello. But I have a very good online presence, and so people know me. So, as long as I give and provide good service to them, they're going to use me in the future, I think.
That can
But
be
it,
that can be a blessing and a curse, right?
yeah,
If you don't keep your standards high,
yep,
you're representing the public, and in all your doings around the city, that can be a curse. But if you keep your standards really high, obviously you do, that can be a real blessing.
yeah,
I'm curious again. I want the audience to understand that to me, it's like at 23 years of age, I was, let's see, 23. I was still in college. Really had no clue what I was going to do. I was getting a degree in business. You're already making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in income, buying investment properties. Talk to us about this last year and maybe the transition that we've all kind of been going through with interest rates going up, the market softening, a little bit in most areas. Talk to us about what you're doing, and I know you're going back through your KV core and getting your CRM with a lot of data that maybe you haven't had even time to do. But talk to us about what you're doing to make that transition.
It's all just going right back to the basics from the time that I first started in real estate. I'm getting more organized. I am making calls to my past clients, checking in to see if they have any plans, this next year, whether if that's buying or selling a home. I'm doing all those things. I'm also making educational videos, doing live video walkthroughs, explaining on 2-1 buy downs, making posts on that, just so people know that it can be affordable still to buy a home. With the 2-1 buy down, you got a discounted rate for the first year, and then it goes up to the current market rate the second year. But we're hoping that rates will come down by then where they can refinance. So just providing that education to my clients and to new buyers is what has helped me with my business. Also leveraging now at the point where I'm starting my real estate team, teaching these new agents that I've been talking to on how to work their sphere, how to prospect. So that is also helping, grow the foundation of my team and my business. So I think that's just the biggest thing. Hopefully you guys follow Coach Pipes. He's got this for the 4 weeks in December, every Monday for 6 hours a day is prospecting time. So for 4 Mondays for the next month. Okay. So I'm time blocking 6 hours every single Monday. He does a call with us, and is making sure that we're following up and doing what we need to do. And then we have to have an accountability partner to make sure that we're actually time blocking 6 hours. And it's not like an hour here and an hour there on Monday. I have to sit in the office for 6 hours and time block. So I think time blocking is huge. Calling people is huge. And just building relationships with people in the community is going to be the number one force in having a successful 2023 and also a 2024.
I love it. Marek, it reminds me, you mentioned the words how to, right? Like the how-tos are super important. We have to learn the skills of our craft. And that's an ongoing process through education, through training, through experience.
Yeah.
You're not a college educated person, right? You didn't get a degree in college. You focused primarily in school on athletics, and you are a great athlete. I'm, having been around the block a few times in my life and worked with younger people like you, I've seen more younger people go into the witness protection program, never to be seen or heard of again. And the reason, and it didn't matter how much we taught them the how-tos. They could come
Mhm.
to 1,000, hours of training and get those how-tos down. What I've discovered is it really gets down to your why. If
Yep.
you don't have a strong why that makes you cry,
Yep.
it doesn't matter how many how-tos. So I'd love to just hear your why. What causes you to get up every day and sit those 6 hours making those cold calls or whatever on those Mondays? Talk to us a little bit about the mindset.
Man, so my why brings chills down my spine and gives me goosebumps throughout my body.
Love
And
it.
my why is my kids. I came from a background of a crazy life and up and downs, roller coasters. And so I've seen I've been able to see, what it means to live a happy life. And um, so every single day when I wake up and I think about my kids and I think about the life that I want them to have is my biggest why. I want them to be loved. I want them to feel cherished and I want them to feel important. And I want them to also be able to have the things that I didn't have when I was a child. I grew up in a blended family. At one point, there were 7 kids us 7 kids living in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom trailer. My bedroom was a laundry room. It was a mattress on, um, it was a mattress on canned food
Wow.
in the laundry room. And so, when I think about my why, I think about my life that I had, growing up, and I just want my kids to have a better life than I had. And so that's what I literally think about every single day. I don't want them to have to struggle. I don't want them to see me struggle. I remember my dad struggling to feed us 7 kids. I mean, he was a school teacher living on a $38,000 salary, and he's still a school teacher today. He's 74 years old. I mean, and he's still working his life away. And so I think about him. I think about my mom. I mean, she's in her late 60s and she's still working every day, making, 40 to 50,000 a year. And so I think about my loved ones, and I could never, ever, ever, you know, work my life away and lose out on the time that I could have with my loved ones. That's one of the biggest reasons why, why I want, so much in this life. And I am starting a team so that I can give my kids everything that I can, every ounce of my energy that I can. This last 2 years, real estate has literally sucked the life out of me mentally and physically. And having this team that I'm creating is going to provide more flexibility in my life. I'm going to be able to love on my kids more and spend as much time as I can with them. That is my why in this life. It's to give my kids everything that I never had.
I love it, Marek. It's a good thing I got these tissue right here because you're about ready to bust me open. I'm going to need them here in a second. Man, we're gonna open it up here in about a minute, Marek. I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your family schedule tonight to be part of Big Win Wednesday. You're an inspiration to me, certainly. And
I'm fortunate enough to be on here. Thanks, Tom, and thanks, Tony.
you
And
bet.
thank all of you guys for tuning in and listening to my story.
That's awesome. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and do a 10-minute Q&A. So feel free to open up your mics. Hopefully, Samantha, they can do that on their own without us having to do anything there. And feel free to just ask Mr. Davis any questions that you have. Tom was asking, what is your biggest obstacle right now, Marek?
I think my biggest obstacle right now is, talking people into buying a home when interest rates are high, when the housing prices, for some sellers, they haven't came down to where the price should be, right? And so just talking them through that scenario, because buyer affordability is really hard right now. And so that's one of the biggest challenges that I'm having. The other challenge is I have all these buyers that I help, sell homes to, 2-3 years ago that have substantial amount of equity. They want to sell their houses right now. And yes, they're going to get a lot of equity back. But when they bought their house at 2.5%, their payments were so low that they just can't afford to upscale. And so that's another challenge that I'm having right now, and the challenge that I'm facing. And so what I'm doing to work through that is I am pushing the 2-1 buy downs or the 1-year buy down and educating them on, hey, here's the graph, here's what we're expected to see. You know, there is a potential that we may not see rates drop, but you know, you've got all this equity. Let's get you into the house that you want, the house that you love, the house of your dreams, and do that 2-1 buy down. And hopefully the next year rates will come down to where they can, so that you can refinance and then you can afford that home at the interest rate of the day at that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'm doing to explain to my clients on, you know, now is still a great time to sell, but it also is still a great time to buy for buyers, because there is a lot of homes and a lot of sellers that do understand that interest rates have crept up and they do need to lower the price on their home 10 to 15%. And so, you know, that's just a couple of things that, you know, I've been working through with my clients to continue to close, you know, 5 to 6 deals a month right now.
Imperative to have great lenders, partners, right? It's so
Yeah.
important.
I have one of the best lenders in East Idaho. You know, I've got a couple senior lenders that I've been in the business for over 20 years. I have another lender that's been in the business for about 5 years since I started. But those guys, they really help me out. They're doing video content with me. They're giving me information on payments, programs, so that I can share it with my people.
I love it. I love it. How many listings do you have currently, and how many buyers are you working with currently, Marek?
Oh man. All right, man. So do you want pending listings too?
Yeah,
All right,
let's hear it.
let me pull it up. I've got it on this. Give me 1 second. So I've got about 15 active buyers right now that are either wanting to sell their home and buy a home, or are just wanting to look into buying a home. A lot of them are in the, I would say that majority of those, probably at least 5 to 7 of those, are in the lower price point of 250 and below. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I currently have 7 listings, and I've got quite a few pending. I've got 3 pending right now, and I closed on 2 this last week. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So about 25, you know, current people that are in my pipeline.
I love it, Marek.
Hey, Marek, are you sure you're not 23 years in the business and not 23 years old?
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
I'm a
Love it,
hustler,
bro.
baby.
I want you to
Hustler,
take
baby.
all the excuses away from the audience. You know, it's funny. Sometimes I hear people say, "Hey, Tom, well, you can do it because you had all these years of experience. That's why you're crushing the business." Bull, 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 bull. Look at you, brother. Love it.
It's awesome. Yeah, you can have reasons or excuses, but you can't have both. Right now, Tom, we're working. I'm actually kind of coaching Marek and helping him develop that team, because I saw this slow moving train wreck with his family, and I said, you gotta, you know, money is one thing, but you gotta take care of mama. You gotta take care of those little girls, and you just can't continue to grow and not sacrifice your family. So Marek is launching his team. It was supposed to be today, but I think you put it off till Friday, right, Marek?
Yeah, put it off till Friday.
So it's going to be a soft, kind of a soft opening, and then we'll do the grand opening January 2nd next year. But I'm excited to watch what happens to this young man. He'll triple his volume and triple his lifestyle at the same time. So
I'm really excited.
Yep. Any questions, guys? We got about 5 minutes, and we're going to take a 5-minute break, a little intermission. I'm going to go get a drink and come back here, and we'll be ready to go at the half-hour mark. So anybody have any final questions or clarification?
So I have a question, Marek. What's the average sale price where you are at, and again where?
Yeah, so in Pocatello, so I'm at a Pocatello, and the average sales price is about $375. And I do service about 100 miles north and about 45 miles south of Pocatello. So all in all, probably the average price point is right around $425,000 to $450,000.
Okay, nice. So do you see the difference as well with the market? You see that over there, there are also increasing in value, like over time, going up higher. Are they appreciated as a fast speed comparing with, like, let's say the last 2 years?
So if I'm understanding your question, right, so this year we appreciated 18% in our area. The year prior we were right around 14%, and then the year before that I think it was around 20%. But if we go back from 1974 up until this year, in our MLS region, the average rate of appreciation year over year is about 5.4%.
Okay.
Eric, what I love about you is, at 23 years of age, you know your numbers. That is so important in this game. You got to know your numbers. So well done. Good job.
Thanks, man.
Great question, Maria. Anybody else have a question?
Hi, Marek. Thank you. I have a question. So when you were starting out, as I'm starting out, when you encountered potential new clients, but you realized that they were probably most likely working with another realtor or other realtors already, trying to see who would be the best one for them, how did you convince them that you were the best? Obviously, with less experience, how did you convince them that you were the best option to go with?
So one thing, so I think Tom actually had made the comment or had mentioned it, but I would say, like, my colleagues or my real estate team or my brokerage has over 25 plus years in this area, and I'm being mentored by them as a new agent, and I have their support. And I am hungry and I'm determined to provide the best service for you and to be the best real estate agent for you and to negotiate the best prices for you.
Solid. That's that to me. I've heard, if I've had $1 for every time I've heard a young person say, well, it's my age. My age is what people don't trust me. They don't think I have enough experience. Right there, you were vulnerable. You laid it out there. I'm new, and I am surrounded by experience and talent, and you didn't let your age become an excuse. So to me, that's stupendous.
And that another thing too is, like, what you can do, Andrew, is you can get on your MLS and you can literally go back 30 days to find the average price per square foot in your area. And you can lay that out to them saying, hey, the average price per square foot is $200 a square foot in our area. Like, if you're talking to a seller, of course. But just the more information that you know, the more information that you can give, the more clients that you are going to get in return.
That help, Andrew? Good. And Andrew, keep in mind too, guys, with work chat, you can go in work chat up at the search bar and just type in Marek, Marek. There's probably only one Marek in the whole company out of 86,000. And you can literally just reach out. So if you guys, Marek is always approachable and more than happy to share his expertise and experience. So feel free to jump in. I know how he is. Who's throwing the football back and forth?
Zach is.
Oh, Zach's there. Hey, bro, what's happening? All right. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap for this section. Now, again, remember, guys, session, I should say, we've got 3 sessions. Big Win Wednesday is not meant to be every week 3 hours. It is meant to be pick and choose. We've got an icon agent at the start. We've got an EXP Realty overview in the middle. And then at the end, we kind of do a revenue share unplugged, where we just really go into that business, because at EXP, of course, we have a couple of different businesses. So, Marek, I want to say thank you before you chime off. I just want to say thank you so much. And I hope that you and Bailey and the girls have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm really excited for you. And you did a great job tonight, young man. Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
job, man. Very much, man. So proud of you, and love it.
Thanks,
Tom, it's
man.
so good to have you on too, brother. Thank you for being here because you were on last week. So really appreciate you being here to support us.
Hey,
New
hey,
York, Thanksgiving. So I won't join the next. I'll be on for about 15 minutes for the next session. Then we're gonna see our family. Tony, you take it from here. We got to record it. We'll back to everybody. Okay.
Great.
Hey Tom,
Perfect.
before you get off, one thing is you set a challenge for me at Bill to recruit agents, and man, they're my
Tell me how
pipeline too,
did you
man.
go?
They're
my
coming out of the
pipeline.
woodwork.
I did set a challenge for you, Marek. You and I need to talk offline. Got to hold you accountable, my man.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We're going to be back in 5 minutes. So maybe 4 minutes looks like. Thanks, Samantha.